Your Twins were idle, but that doesn't mean we don't have ground to cover. The St. Paul Saints faced one of the very best prospects in all the land, so we'll have an update on that. We'll look at the rest of the division, and of course, we'll get you ready for the Tigers in town. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello again. It's Locked On Twins, and I'm your host, Brandon Warren, and you can unfollow me on Twitter at Brandon_WARNE, and Mr. Dave Brown across the screen from me at Answer Dave Brown on the tweets. Give him a follow. Get him up to 1K. Dave, how are we doing?
Hi, Brandon. I'm good. I'm excited to have seen a St. Paul Saints game not on TV, but on video.
TV-ish, TV adjacent
TV
technology. And I'm happy to report that I'm feeling better. It may have been obvious, it may not, but I had a bout of food poisoning during the show last night. So I was really trying to lock it down, which may or may not have been evident. But thanks again for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube. Let's say hi to the YouTubers out there.
Hi there. Hi.
And
hi,
yeah,
YouTube.
we're
too.
MeTube. As part of the Locked On Podcast Network, we are also your team every day. We love you on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts are big for us because it moves us up the charts, makes us look like we have a really good production going on here, which I think we do. But episode today is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code LockedOnMLB, all in lowercase, all one word, and they'll give you the first deposit match $100. So good stuff there. Dave, we have a lot of ground to cover, which is surprising because the Twins didn't even play today.
No, but they gained some ground on the Tigers, who lost to Jack Leiter and the Rangers. So, I mean, Jack Leiter didn't necessarily have all that much to do with it, but the Tigers lost. So that's good, right? That's good.
There's a few Twins angles there too, because not only do the Tigers come to town next, having dropped 3 of 4 to the defending world champions, who are 11-9, so they're off to a decent enough start. But Gio Urshela with a couple hits. Again, we know that's not what I'm talking about. And yeah, Jack Leiter making his MLB debut, one of the more ballyhooed prospects, pitching prospects who hasn't debuted yet, and more on another one of those here in a bit. But Kenta Maeda got absolutely knocked around. 3 homers allowed, 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 earned, 7 hits, 6 total runs, and
nice job, Falvey.
Exactly, great trade, Falvey. As much as it looks like, hey, the Twins dodged a bullet here, 7.64 ERA to this point. I mean, we don't know anything yet. He could be great the rest of the season and that sort of thing. But how much does it kind of rustle your jimmies that his only good start so far this year was against the Twins?
Well, that figures, doesn't it? You kind of could see that coming a little bit. I don't know. He seems like he's aged a little bit. Maybe that the surgery has advanced his expiration date a little closer. So maybe it just takes him a little longer to get going. I'm not sure. I haven't looked so closely at Kenta's stuff to say, that this is why he's performing well or this is why he's not. But I guess it's good to know that there's someone out there who was on the team last year, who's not on the team now, who's also off to an awful start. So it's not just the guys who are on the Twins now. Some of them who left are also going through bad periods.
Well, and you just get caught. You're kind of mired in that hole. The Twins only make the wrong decisions on personnel loop, that feedback loop that just seems to be never ending, like an escalator on Twitter. And it's not that you want to, be like, I prayed for the downfall of Kenta Maeda, because I didn't. I think Kenta Maeda is a super guy. And I know that Rocco Baldelli thought the world of him, but I just like when baseball things happen to other teams so I can point to it and say, look, baseball things are happening. Oh, we lost 10-2 today. The season's over. Teams lose 10-2 all the time. Like it just happens. The defending world champions, big time prospect starter got knocked around, and they had to come back from or actually they were tied. Shelby Miller gave up a run as he did against the Twins, so the Rangers took the lead and won. There's baseball things happen, and I feel like every time something bad happens to the Twins, that's baseball, regular baseball, it still just is more of a, wow, this is us being tested again. This is just the Twins being awful again. And maybe it bothers me more than it should.
Well, everybody pretty much agrees that the Twins are not off to a good start and they're not
Right.
playing well and they need to get better and all that stuff. But somebody had a good tweet today. Just a person, just a Twins fan who I follow, I think, and he was responding to, I don't know if he was responding to Nick Nelson or somebody like that. And he said, yeah, all these things are true about how the Twins are off to a bad start. And if they don't get going, they're going to regret it pretty soon. But at the same time, do you think that all these major league hitters are going to continue to hit 091? Is Manuel Margot, really that bad? Are the starting pitchers of the fourth and fifth starters going to have, 9 ERAs for the entire year? And the answer is that's not how it works. I mean, for as poor as some things have gone, they're bound to get better. They are, even if they're not bound to get good. It's not a good start for the team, but also some of the parts have been so bad that it's not real. It's not 162 games real. It's going to get better just because things even out. So despite it's getting late early, as Yogi Berra would say, but at the same time, I think we need just a little more patience, and we will see relatively soon in the next 6 weeks how the season is going to go. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, it's a tough road to kind of traverse because, like, you can agree no matter what that they've played poorly. You can agree no matter what that they need to play better. But you also know that statistically, a team isn't going to hit under 200 all year because they'll either guys will round into form, guys will get shipped out. There will be a leveling out of all of this. And, I know you and I were as confident as anybody about this team's talent. And I'm going to be honest with you, I still am. They have 3 guys that are going to come back to this bullpen in Topa, Duran, and then, maybe Daniel Duarte. I don't know if he'll be in that mix or not, but that's a big chunk of a good bullpen. You've got Correa out, Lewis out. Kepler started a rehab down in with St. Paul in Indianapolis tonight. Saw some good pitching, so that should help kind of speed him up coming back. Yeah. There's a lot of things that, as much as I get how negative it's been, it goes to show again the imperfect marriage of baseball and social media, because like somebody else said, the Rangers had a 4-16 stretch last year, and then 50, I think they said it was like 53 days later, they're hoisting that piece of metal that Rob Manfred once famously called it. So again, baseball and the tweets it's an imperfect marriage. And so I feel like I'm kind of peeing into the wind a little bit when I'm like, just calm down, everybody. Calm.
Well, just wash your hands. That's all I have to, that's my only request.
I'm doing the Moises Alou thing. So actually,
right. So you have soap. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm looking at the Baseball Reference page, and I see things like Carlos Santana, who is 38 years old, hitting 135, slugging 154. Now, whether it's Carlos Santana or somebody else, the Twins' first baseman is not going to be hitting 135 and slugging 154 in a month, in 2 months. Even Edouard Julien, who's had some nice moments, he's only hitting 175. That's going to go up. Mm-hmm. Kyle Farmer is not going to hit 097 all year. Byron Buxton is not going to hit 193 all year. Matt Wallner or whomever. Matt Wallner is down to 080. Ugh. That's not going to go on all year. Willie Castro's not going to hit 122. baseball statistics can really give you a mind bleep. It's just they're too bad. These guys are all too bad right now. It's not going to stay that way. I have maybe less confidence overall in my pick for the Twins winning 98 games,
Right.
but I have great confidence that these batting averages, these on-base percentages, they're going to go up. They're going to win some games. And the Twins, they have lots of things working for them. Overall, the bullpen has been really good. 3 of the starters have been pretty good. And a couple hitters have been good. And I think a few more will be good soon. So and the defense has been solid. In the last week, it hasn't been as good as it was in the first 2 weeks, but they are a sound team still.
The situational frustration I get, though, because it just seems like every chance there is for something to go sideways, it has. They take the lead over Baltimore, and then 1 out later on the other side of the inning, they give it back up.
Right.
Gives up a homer. So I get that. Quick Wallner note before we head to our first break. Did you see my tweet about him where he actually was hit by 4 times as many pitches as he had hits against non-position players before he was sent out? 1. So he had 1 hit against a non-position player. Then he smoked that home run. More on him hitting home runs in just a little bit here too. But yeah, so to say that it was not going his way would be an understatement. Let's take a quick second. Our friends at FanDuel have a message for us. And then when we come back, we will talk, we go to talk St. Paul Saints. We can talk about the AL Central. We can get ready for the Tiger series. And then even a few news and notes as some former Twins have been moving and a shaken. But again, first, a word from FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Wild finishing their last game as we speak, or maybe just a little bit ago, against the Kraken. Time to get Kraken if you're the Timberwolves, who will be playing on Saturday against the Suns at home at Target Center. That's going to be a huge one. Make sure you check out our friend on Locked On Wolves. But baseball is in full swing. FanDuel is your place to bet on each and every one of these games, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. Win, lose, or draw, that's $150. So you can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. If I can figure it out, so can you. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win, like facing the White Sox right now. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Well, I knew you'd love when I go to the White Sox bullying there at that last second.
Well, they can take it. They can't. So they will crumple even more into a ball, into a fetal position of a baseball team when you rip them. So actually, let's try and make them get as small as possible.
More like Jerry Reinsdorf, am I right?
I might have said that before.
Okay, well then I don't feel as funny. Not that you're not funny, just that I stole a bit.
Funny how? Am I amusing to you in some kind of clown way?
Yeah, I think I'm going to just plead the fifth there. Saints in Indianapolis facing the AAA affiliate for the Pirates, and a lot of fun stuff going on here. How about the Gunkel Winkle battery for the Twins?
Wasn't it? I thought it was in. It wasn't in the Twin Cities. It was a road game.
Not in the Twin Cities. It was not.
I was confused then. No wonder I was like a half inning off. I'm like, oh, it's the bottom of the. No, it wasn't, Dave.
Yeah.
I love the Gunkel Winkle Twinkle, the combination that produced that.
What about like John Jacob Jingle Gunkel Winkle?
Who was the pitcher who came in? Phineas Fogg, Del Bonta.
Phineas Del Bonta Smith. I had actually never heard of him before tonight. 27-year-old who's got pretty good minor league numbers, actually. 227 strikeouts in under 200 innings. So
I like his name. He's sounds like a mad scientist from the 19th century.
Phineas is a troll.
Yeah, he's gonna take off in a hot air balloon after the game and go somewhere around the world.
That would be an exit. Wow.
So I was impressed with Paul Skenes, throwing 100 miles an hour wherever he wanted to.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I've not bought into the Pirates line of thinking. It seems a few years past tense to me, this whole
yeah.
thing about we got to build him up, even though he came from LSU, where it was like, I don't want to say indentured servitude, but they made him work. They make
Yeah.
those pitchers work in college, and now they're not making him work. But we got
It
to
was like,
build him up. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
it was like a work study. You could call it that and not be
A
offensive.
work study. That's the old NCAA, where you're
Yeah.
getting your scholarship and that's your money, and
I was
you'll have to like it.
I was on the rarely study. So Skeens 8 strikeouts in 3. You just shake your head every time I make a joke. I love it. 8 strikeouts in 3 1/3. And I wanted to talk about Matt Wallner striking out twice tonight. One of those was against Skeens, so I'm not even going to really hold it against him because it was 101 wherever he wanted, or 100 wherever he wanted. He touched 101. There was a few different scouting writers at the game, so go back and check because there's some good footage from different angles where you can see just how well he was throwing the baseball. And at first I was a little concerned or a little under the impression that the pitchers were being squeezed, but apparently it was an ABS umpired home plate umpire. So I honestly thought, once I went back and looked at some of the specifics, that was a pretty awesome bit of technology that we need to start using in the major leagues.
ABS also equals no BS. Is that what you're saying when it comes to the strike zone?
Anti-lock brake system, I think, is what it's called.
Let's go faster. We have pitch clock.
Yep.
So those are two different things. But
the game did seem to move slower, though, I thought.
It did a little bit. Sometimes those AAA games, it seemed like they would go really slow, but I don't know. But they do have a pitch clock, so that was all in our heads. I think we kind of demand mentally the baseball game to go by faster, and then when it doesn't, it's like, hello.
Yeah,
so whatever. But so Skeens looks ready. I mean, that's a Pirates issue though. Generally, Wallner did hit a nice home run later against a different pitcher.
That was really a great appearance, by the way.
It was a heck of a clout. So,
but he got down, I think 0-2 against Honeywell, who's pitched in the major leagues.
Yeah,
and then fought back and hit. I mean, my goodness, one of the most booming home runs you'll see. And so I just thought it was a great plate appearance, which is encouraging because he had struck out twice earlier in the game, and then he had that infield single where he showed some wheels.
He did. I was
game.
I don't know if it was just like the big strides of big, tall Matt Wallner or what, but he got down the line in a hurry. I'd seen someone kind of question his effort on a double to left field. It was one of those things where I don't think it would have mattered if he had hustled, but it just didn't necessarily look great.
I did see that too, and I thought about it for just about a split second.
But he was where it mattered on the infield hit. It got him a run too. That was a good sign. That was a big league play. Just another, the power that he showed in that at bat on the home run, and the quickness getting down the line, and the presence of mind to realize that he could beat it out in the first place. I think ground balls to shortstop, some guys are not, out of habit, not necessarily getting down the line that fast. But those were very encouraging signs to me that he's probably not going to be down in the minors for too long. But they obviously need him to work on a little bit more stuff. So.
Yeah, Skeens started off with striking out the side in the first inning, and that would have been, if I'm not mistaken, Prado, Kepler, and then Deshaun Kiersey. Who I like Deshaun Kiersey. The more I hear about him, the more I watch him. He had a nice. It was more of a reaction play out in center, and for whatever reason, Gunkel was ticked at himself after for a pitch he threw or something. But Kiersey's a nice player who's come along in the last few years. I'd like to see where he ends up on the Twins hierarchy because I think he could have a chance. Hey, by the way, some really fun personnel in this game. Little jarring to see Yasmani Grandal playing at AAA, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he kind of has sunk in his later years and has definitely needed some rehab type things in AAA, just maybe to remind him what needs to go on. He was really not the best version of himself with the White Sox last year. So it was fun to see him again, I guess. But, he's trying to work his way back, and he probably will soon. But Yeah, a lot of names. Tony Kemp. Tony Kemp made an incredible play on
Yeah,
a double
so
play at second base. That was kind of his introduction to the Saints, sort of, and that's a good sign there. That's another guy, sort of like Wallner. He's just a half step faster than everybody else, whether it's physically or anticipation or whatever, and you can tell that that's a big league ball player.
Another one's Jake Lamb, who went 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs and a walk. He's doing as you'd expect a guy like that. And then Billy McKinney's on that team. Oh, Gilberto Celestino, by the way, in right field. But Billy McKinney in center field. My Billy McKinney story, which is it's a dumb story, was in Bradenton.
Oh, I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, well, I was in the press box, and this guy kept bugging me about if I wanted pictures of Billy McKinney for my website. And I'm like, first of all, dude, I'm covering the Twins. We're in Bradenton,
Right.
which is where the Pirates play. And at this time, Billy McKinney was with the Blue Jays. And I'm like, dude, what are you like? Yeah, if you want these, just give me an email. Email me, I'll get you a good deal on them. I'm like digital for using on our website when I was with Zone Coverage. I'm like, I'm never, ever, ever going to need those. We have access to USA Today photos. So I was just kind of trying to be nice, like, yeah, dude, thanks for the offer. But it was so strange.
Are you going to tell me that it was Billy McKinney trying to sell you photos of himself?
It wasn't. It was an older guy who was, okay. He was kind of.
I really wanted that to be the end of the story, but I guess yours is okay too.
By the way, did you notice how quickly they would go from the final out to the commercial in every inning?
Quick. I mean, it would be like the out would happen, and this would be a good time for a replay or something, or a breath. No, we are. Nope. But then then they wouldn't show a commercial. It would be that interstitial, we'll be right back message. It wouldn't necessarily be at least I didn't see one. It would be like, we'll be right back. And it's like, you cut off the announcer.
They had a few for a 10-minute oil change place that must be in Indianapolis, because I've never heard of it. So it's not, market specific, but I don't know. Hey, let's give some love to PrizePicks. And then when we come back, we'll wrap things up with around the AL Central, Max Kepler update too, and then a few different moves. We'll look at the upcoming series. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's do this really quick. PrizePicks is North America's largest daily fantasy sports platform. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. So instead of battling thousands of other players, you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 different stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. You can go risky with demon picks. Those are in red. They're a little trickier. They're a little scarier, but they could win you some big time cash, like 100 times your bet. So if you put down 10 and win, you get 1,000. It's a pretty darn good deal if you can make it happen. But if you're more cautious, you can do a goblin pick. Those are green. They keep you in the green, rolling in the green, and the payout is less than a demon pick. But again, you're more likely to be consistently winning with those picks. If you're into the NBA, we're in the playoffs, so it's time to really lock it in. You can pick more than or less than on three-pointers and turnovers committed. And for baseball, it's more than or less than on strikeouts, first inning runs, all that kind of stuff. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB. It's all one word. It's all lowercase. And get that first deposit match up to $100. Join PrizePicks today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, Dave. Max Kepler with a hit and a walk. Faced some some MLB caliber-ish pitchers. Paul Skenes, Connor Sadzek was throwing it pretty hard. Even Honeywell, was a big-time prospect with the Rays way back in the day. So it wasn't like he went down there and rehabbed against nobodies. I mean, They weren't obviously big leaguers, but current big leaguers, but good pitching all the same.
Guys who have been in the big leagues recently might get back. Certainly have good stuff, and probably are as talented as many other guys who are in the big leagues now. So not irrelevant kind of experience in the rehab. That's always, that's sort of the downside of sending a guy down there. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, blah, blah, blah. But this is a decent competition. So that's good. So
Kepler batted second and DH'd. I wonder if he will rejoin the Twins at some point in the Tiger series. That opens up on Friday. And you can catch every pitch of the Twins hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Twins. It'll be Joe Ryan and Jack Flaherty on Friday, 7:10 p.m. first pitch at Target Field. So it'll be Ryan and Flaherty, Bailey Ober and Reese Olson, and then Louis Varland and Casey Mize. By the way, we missed by 1 day potential for 2 of the 3 AL Central babyface starting pitchers to face each other. Louis Varland looks like he's 13. Reese Olson looks like he's about 13. And then Brady Singer looks like he's about 13.
Brady Singer will always, even when he gets facial hair, Brady Singer will always look like someone's little brother.
It feels to me like if you were facing the old, what was it, Max Fried and Jack Flaherty and who was the third pitcher?
Giolito.
Yeah, like if you were facing them, but it was in like American Legion baseball, or
right.
We call it Babe Ruth, the level beneath.
Some people call it Cal Ripken. Some people call it Pony League.
Yeah, I don't know what Little League, whatever. But it's like facing those guys 15 years ago or something.
Louis Varland, he does have a baby face, but you're when you get up next to him, it's like this guy could crush me like a tin can. He's obviously been very worked out. He's got big muscles, and he's a large.
Doesn't skip leg day.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't skip leg day or chest day or shoulder day. So he's a big. Being physical is not Louis' issue right now. It's location.
Yep. Since we saw the Tigers last, they've dropped 3 of 4 to the Rangers, 9-7 loss, as we stated. So they're also not tail spinning necessarily, but they're definitely in a bit of a down stretch.
A regress.
Yep. So we'll see what that looks like here. Not much to really go over in terms of looking forward because it's a team they just saw. But rest of the AL Central, Cleveland hung on to beat Boston 5-4. That was actually a good game that I watched this afternoon. Boston did kind of like a bullpen day, and Cleveland had Carlos Carrasco going, and Boston just could not get anything really consistent put together, and Clase closed it out.
Yeah, and well, as far as the Tigers coming up, I feel like the Twins owe them at least one. They, were in a position to take that series and didn't, and I don't know that I believe in momentum really in baseball because there's an old saying that you're only as good as your next day starting pitcher, or a bullpen collapse, or some kind of defensive collapse, which is what happened to the Twins. So I think just keeping that fresh in their minds, let's play 3 complete games and, obviously try and win all 3, but definitely take 2 to get. I think that's what the mindset has to be for the Twins here. Again, we're not in the must-win territory, but the longer this goes with a record that is something like 6-11, depending on where you are in life, that's not good. And to get it turned around against the division foe is paramount at this point because we're not worried about winning a World Series. We're not worried about the Twins, getting it together against the best teams in the league, or how they're going to face the Orioles. It's back to the Tigers and the Guardians and the Royals, and I guess
I bristle at the word momentum, but I don't doubt that there's something that's momentum adjacent. Like the idea when things are going good, they seem to continue going good, and when they're bad, they seem to continue going bad. But to me, that's more of like a human nature thing of like you loosen up and whatever.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it momentum because momentum can't be created or halted. So I don't know.
It's very scientific of you.
Right, exactly. Tony Kemp had his debut. He went 0-4 with a couple strikeouts. We'll see if he gets up here at some point soon. Some moves around the league as we wind up here. Sean Anderson signs with the Rangers on a minor league deal. Do you remember the Sean Anderson trade for the Twins, who they sent out?
I don't off the top of my head. Who was
Late night Lamont Wade Jr.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so Twins fans still not forgiving over that one. Anderson has kicked around, bounced around since then. He's re-upping or returning or joining the Rangers on a minor league deal. Red Sox calling up Cam Boozer, who is a left-handed hard-throwing reliever who was in the Twins farm system for a while. So we do like to see
Why
that.
do the Twins keep losing all these good pitchers? What is Falvey doing?
Yeah, great trade, Falvey, right? That's actually probably a Terry Ryan draft pick. Tyler
All I
J.
know is Carlos Boozer is the best boozer in that family. I mean, he doesn't have a mid. This Cam Boozer doesn't have a mid-range jump shot and can't rebound for crap.
I don't know if he's ever been to Utah either, but Tyler J. DFA'd by the Mets, which if you didn't know Tyler J. was on the Mets, you can be forgiven. And guess who he was DFA'd for?
Who's that?
Michael Tonkin, who was claimed by the Mets. So it's a bit of a what do they call those? Carousel of relievers. Former
A vicious circle as well.
Circle. And then this one's not the Twins, but Robert Stevenson is going to miss the entire season. He signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Angels, who could not even be bothered to Google Robert Stevenson elbow. And he's going to miss the season. Boy, it's hard to be more disastrous of a reliever contract than that, though, to miss the entire first season.
Well, I mean, that's one reason why most teams tend to not give out those contracts, except with a few exceptions. Now, I was for the Twins being interested in this guy, but he did kind of end the season last year with some arm issues, and here they are again, rearing their head or their arm, their ugly arm, as it were. So, and that's why these days it seems even more foolish to give out long-term contracts to short relievers, just because everybody and their grandma seems to be having Tommy John. TMJ is like when your jaw hurts because you got punched in the face.
TMZ, like when you're sitting at home in the afternoon sick from school and that's what's on the TV after the People's Court. But that's a very specific reference from my standpoint. Hey, drafted Simeon Woods Richardson in a season-long fantasy league today. So let's see if that comes to help me out as well.
In our Atanyu?
No, different. I'll explain later. Hey, Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Twins, and we'll see you tomorrow.